I talked about the Forever Winter and why I personally like it. Now, I'll just go a little bit more in depth with some enemies they run with. Each faction has a little bit of their own flavor, so I might as well just show what their army is. And if you haven't checked this video, just go and do it before you watch this one. So, as we know, there are 3 factions: Europa, Eruska, and Eurasia. Now, there isn't much showing in the wiki other than the short description of them and the weapons they carry. Although I ain't going to bore you to death, so what I'll do instead is mention the factions and write a little bit of details on the screen so it can help your artistic brain. But we will start first. The big piece of this is that we're going to be starting with Europa, a military and governmental superpower that their army is quite of a well-armored army, and in their list, they have quite of an army to run with. In combination of 2 other factions, Europa has more of a list of an army than the other 2. So, we're going to the self-explained ones with infantry. So, we have European bodyguard, European elite soldier, European officer, European assassin, European pilot, aka pilots of the mechs, European sniper, the ones that have fucking stun locks, those fucking cunts, European signaler, but it's more of a rare mention of it, European soldier, European spotter, European pyro, European thief, and European pursuer. They exist, but their purpose is not really explained as to why. Now, from those self-explanatory ones, we're going for the weird naming ones. We have European EOD. Now I've counted them. Let's say they're fucking tanky with machine guns, aka MG34s, and they're all almost like walking tanks, but gameplay-wise, they pretty much are. Grin, they are like a leader of a light patrol unit running with a SCAR or with a S12. Now, for the funny one is called Egghead. It's just a sniper that likes to play as a bitch. Think of it, Egghead, as an Easter egg in Forever Winter, just like the sniper, but they can stun lock you as well. Alright, let's move into vehicles. Now, we have European Mercana tank, which is the standard, Mercana body tank, which is the same but it has corpses all around it, European Titan, and no, not the 40k variant. Remove that out of your head right now! So, this one is like a battleship but on land. There's a destroyed one in Ashen Mesa and that you can enter into it. And there's a slight mention in the trailer as well, just very short. And it shows what it does, but plus the sentence from the wiki, it talks about that. The Titan is a massive land ship deployed by Europa to encounter similar gargantuan units from both Eruska and Eurasia. It is heavily armored and possesses a multitude of weapon and radar systems. There isn't much more to talk about it, honestly, but that's it. That's it for that one. And the final vehicle that needs to be talked about is the cow balloon. It's a balloon with a cow in it, and they showed it in the trailer as well if you missed it, and there isn't much info about it other than there just being a visual effect. But it's there. Now to the good part, robots and mechs. So, we have the European drone, they're easy to take down. They are mainly for reconnaissance, but they have a light machine gun, a 20mm turret, and it's self-explanatory. It's a turret with a 20mm, and there's not much to say that, other than, but they can just fuck you up if you position wrongly. But usually you can be quick enough to go behind cover and just shoot it. Now, exos. It's pretty self-explanatory, but if you want my advice, don't fucking touch them. If that arm cannon even tickles you, say goodbye to your loot. Now, apparently the weapon it has a arm cannon 167 for whatever that means, and it has an MG17. Not sure if that talks about the caliber or it has how many bullets is in it. It's weird how it's written, but I would guess it's their ammo capacity, but it's not very clear. And that's that's pretty much the whole thing about this wiki, is when it talks about the factions or the army units, it only vaguely says about certain things that it may happen or it may have from their visual appearance. That is it, really. And even if you read more about it in the description, as I said before, it just generalizes how it uses its weapons and all that. The Red Baton Exo is the same thing like Exo, but it's a unique unit that you can use it for your quests. Medium mech. Should I even state the obvious? They are the bulkiest mechs to see, and of course they appear in game. Of course, obviously, do not shoot or get close to them. And of course I'm speaking from experience, but I know some of you are fucking insane to try to fuck with them. You know what's more annoying with this video? it's this.
You can't escape me!
Welcome to the Hoppeldas Legion, motherfucker! I have a long range of options for you guys you can support me in. Patreon, Ko-Fi, and YouTube memberships. And from your support, it will make me more committed to do more videos. There's my stuff. They're in the video descriptions or my main channel. Might as well join the cause and be part of the Legion, brother. And to wipe off the degeneracy off this planet. That is all for this advertisement. Even though you skipped it, you fucking heretic. And now, let's get back to the video. Now, we're going for the easy part now. We are going downhill and we are going for Eurasia. It is a global government and a corporate, and also, if you think about it, even though I never played Cyberpunk, but I'll call this Cyberpunk, but it's 20 times worse, and you go to war and they force you to become a cyborg against your will. So this cyborg could be female. Don't misgender her, but then again, we usually called cyborgs mentally challenged. Now, this faction is a lot shorter, so it makes it easier for me to edit. GG easy. So the main frontline infantry consists a lot of cyborgs, so in fact, we have the cyborg crawler, scrambler, or quadrupedal, that just means four-legged in a way, cyborg walkers, or runner, cyborg soldier with or without the helmet. I don't know why that's even mentioned in the fucking wiki. We get what it is. And those are the most common ones. So for the other infantry units, which are also so self-explanatory, we have the Eurasian Brawler, and then we have the Eurasian Heavy Brawler, which, think about this, Brawler and Heavy Brawler are just melee units, so do not fucking touch them. Eurasian Officer, Eurasian Pack Leader, and finally, the God Sniper. I really don't need to explain to you this. It's a fucking sniper, you dickhead. For vehicles, we have the Chopper. I'm surprised this isn't present in other factions, but we'll go with that. We have the Corpse Bomber. That's the one that drops cyborgs and hopefully it doesn't drop on you and you get fucking eaten alive. And after that, really, that is the last stuff and it's quite short. And now we're going for the final part, really. It's the robots and mech. So we have the drone, and just like how Europa uses it, nothing different. And some people will simp for this fucking thing, but I would just call them being weak. And that is the Mother Courage. You may think you don't have a brain, but you have an idea, but my man, this ain't the fucking idea. Mother Courage tends to be the aftermath battles, piled with skulls and all that, and it gets really creepy, which I do like that a lot with the tone and atmosphere. She's a one-shot boss, and I wouldn't recommend to engage this at all costs. Don't even fucking think about it. Now, for the final faction, which is kind of easy as well, is Euruska. They are pretty much a Eurasia's ally, and they consist a lot more robot mechs, but not much other units to use around, and they don't really talk about themselves or what the faction is really about or what their military power is. Doesn't really mention other than being a Eurasia's ally. But we'll start with the infantry. Most of these are self-explanatory, as I mentioned before. We have Euruskan Commander, Euruskan Infantry, Euruskan Officer, Euruskan Sniper, and Euruskan Rider. And then we have Gold Brick. Honestly, I didn't know about the guy, so according to the wiki though, it's pretty much a former Euruskan sniper that uses a 36M anti-tank rifle, and whatever the fuck that means, and pretty much is like Dawn of War Space Marine voice line. Walk softly and carry a big gun. Now, the last part I like it says it is currently unknown as to why he went AWOL. It is very interesting, but I guess we'll find out in the later picture, but it's very vague and very short, just like any other fucking units that's being talked about in this wiki. Vehicles is just like the T-90 tank. Yes, that's it. That's their main fucking tank on this. They have no more vehicles after that. Now, robots and mechs. We have the Euruskan Stalker, and not the fucking game, that thing. Both Grabber and Stalkers are fucking annoying, and then again, Grabbers are one-shots in my experience, so do not fucking test them. They can run real quick, and they can just one-shot you. So you might as well sacrifice your friends and shoot yourself so quick while you're playing the music called I Shit in My Pants while you're going for extraction. Now, for some nice stuff, we got like the medium mech, which that is the standard, which I've mentioned before with European. Not too much difference other than weaponry, same thing. And then we have the Orga mechs. Orga mechs is like the brawlers, but make them bigger. Toothy mech is like a medium mech that is bigger. Close enough. I know there's a big text in the wiki, but it's more from what we have seen and assume or what it can do based on the trailer and in-game. But I'll make it simple. It uses humans as a battery so it can find more enemies, and I know it mentions it used to be a medical care for Eruskans, but I have to question that of where this came from since I don't recall there was a single mention of it. But the only mention that I can find, it only comes from this video, with this short snippet.
As shown in the trailers, Toothy is a large automaton that I'm told by Kai was once originally a Euraskan medical engineer unit that after some as yet unknown event has since gone rogue.
Okay, that's cool. Someone told you, but it would be nice if that was mentioned in-game instead of relying on to do the job of lore for devs. There could have been many ways to make your lore much more interesting in-game, but I don't think this is one of them, Chief. I don't think people will go out of the game just to watch a YouTube video when you could have just done that in-game. I know there are many games that have in-game lore, and as far as I'm aware, Doom 2016, Doom Eternal has in-game lore, even though they don't tell you directly, but when you collect the notes and all that, they give you a whole fucking list of their backstory. And they give you like some exposition as well of how the universe works and all that. Like some games give you a straightforward story and some games might give you some exposition by base of you just looking around and being more interested about the story of the universe of this thing. I don't think this is good, Chief. And also, a question is, right? What happens if they change the lore? Because at that point, that video that you made will be obsolete. Because maybe at some point in the future years when they want to flesh out a little bit of the lore and give more exposition, they might have to change a couple of things. And maybe that mech might not have been a fucking medical mech, it might have been just a farming machine. You just never know when they change things. So, there you go. That's all the faction and units in what is presented in every other faction that is showed in Forever Winter. There isn't much to discuss about other than maybe for the new upcoming updates, but I ain't one of those guys who go in and just experiment things just to say, so this god is amazing and he got amazing buff from the last time and yada 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 yada. No, I'm not one of those guys. But there is one piece of lore I might mention later, and of course, is Lord Dos. But to do it justice, I will go through a breakdown of Lord Dos from the pieces of lore that he gives us. Of course, the lore isn't about the wider universe of Forever Winter, but it's more of a personal story of a man who lived in such times where he can hardly remember his own name. I think that will be more interesting to cover when I get to it. And that is the part that I mentioned before. Just give us more in-lore stuff. That will be much more interesting because it actually gives the player much more achievement to actually make the commitment to know and understand the lore, instead of just watching a fucking YouTube video. YouTube videos can be good if done right, but then again, people like convenience, so what am I to say here? That is all for this video. You can check me on Ko-Fi, Patreon, and YouTube memberships. You can check me on Discord. I mainly just do 40k stuff, you're more welcome to join in. Or you can check me on YouTube's community page, where I do updates and shit, but it's there. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye, my brothers, and take care.